Hello, my name is Dennis, and welcome to my Trailer Park White Trash Mobile Home Kitchen. I really do live in a mobile home, in a trailer park, and this is my kitchen. The recipe that I'm going to video today is one that I came up with based upon a recipe that I tried in an Italian cookbook. I videoed that recipe, and when I put all the video clips together, just the clips you needed to see the various steps, the video was 45 minutes long. Nothing needs to be that difficult. So I came up with a shorter process, and I ended up with a finished product that actually looks better and tastes just as good as the recipe in that cookbook. This is rolled stuffed pasta. It's an Italian rolled pasta. I'm going to use lasagna, and you make a Balsamella, which is like a Béchamel. Béchamel is French, Balsamella is Italian. You make a Balsamella that you put over the top when you serve it. Oh, it is delicious. I like this stuff. So let's get into the ingredients for making my rolled stuffed pasta. As I mentioned earlier, for the pasta, I'm using dry store-bought lasagna. Just cook that according to package directions. For the Balsamella, I have 3 tablespoons of butter. You can use whole butter, unsalted butter, or clarified butter. I'm using clarified because I have it. 3 tablespoons all-purpose flour, and 3 cups of milk, and then 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper and 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground nutmeg. For the filling, I have 2 pounds of spinach. This is small leaf spinach where I don't have to pull the stems off. If you use the big spinach leaves, you'll have to pull the stems off. I have 1 pound of ricotta cheese, 3 large eggs, and then I have 2 more eggs because I'm using 2 egg yolks, 1 cup of freshly grated Parmesan or Romano cheese. I'm using Romano. Roughly 5 to 6 ounces of prosciutto. I just went to the store and asked them to give me all one big piece because it's going to get chopped up in the food processor anyways. And then 1/2 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. And then salt and pepper to taste if you want it. I'll definitely put pepper in it, but because I'm using Romano cheese, which is salty, I'm going to leave the salt out, I think, or at least taste to see if I need it. So those are my ingredients. I have some water heating in the bottom of this pan. This is my old pressure cooker pan that I no longer use as a pressure cooker because the pressure regulator was destroyed. It was a lousy pan to begin with, long story. I'm going to get 2 pounds of raw spinach in there, although it looks like it won't fit, but it'll fit. I'm going to cook this for 5 minutes, and then with tongs I'm going to turn it over, move it around, because it won't cook evenly, it's so packed full. And then I'll cook it for another 5 minutes. I'll put it in a colander in the sink and let it drain. Mostly I want it to cool because with my hands I'm going to be squeezing out extra moisture, and I have to let that cool down a little bit. Everybody should know how to make a roux, which is where I'm going to start to make my Balsamella. So there's my butter going into the pan. Roux is the basis of a lot of French sauces. My butter is melted. I'm going to stir in my flour. Again, this is 3 tablespoons of each. And I just want to cook this for like 30 seconds to a minute. All I'm interested in at this point is just cooking the flour so that it doesn't have a raw flour flavor to it. My roux here has had a chance to cool a little bit. If this looks a little bit darker now, it's because the white pepper and the nutmeg have been stirred into that. I'm going to pour in a little of my milk. And you can see that didn't flare up. I'm going to change from a wooden spoon here to a spatula. I like this better for this because it allows me to scrape the bottom and the sides. All right, I think I can pour the rest of this in there now. And then I'm going to put my heat on to about medium to bring this up to a boil. And then what I'll be doing is I'll be stirring this for a good 10 or 15 minutes to thicken this into my Béchamel or Balsamella. And at this point you can see that it's immediately running off of the spatula there. This will thicken hopefully to a coats a spoon stage. I have been standing here for 10 minutes stirring this Balsamella while it cooked. I raised the heat up and down a little bit from low to medium low, just up and down to keep it at a very light simmer. This has thickened very nicely in 10 minutes. I'm not going to go 15. There you can see it's at the coats a spoon stage. You remember before how it just ran off the spatula. So that's how to make Béchamel, Balsamella. Oh, and one thing I will do is I will taste this later on for salt. And I will probably add a little bit of salt to this because I know it's going to need it. My spinach has cooled now, so this is comfortable to touch. I'm going to squeeze this, but of course I have to get rid of my rings first, because they harbor all kinds of goodies underneath. Okay, and you just want to squeeze this just to get excess water out. So I'm going to squeeze all this out, and then I'll be ready to chop it and prepare my filling. Here's my spinach. I got that dried out. I did press that between layers of paper towels, and then I chopped that fairly fine. As far as my prosciutto, rather than running it through the food processor, I just minced it really into small mince, kind of a really nice mince, while I was waiting for things to cool. My water, by the way, is boiling, so I have my pasta cooking. There's my ricotta cheese, Romano cheese, 2 egg yolks, and I'm going to put in 3 eggs, and because I'm working with spinach, always a little nutmeg. And then you want to mix that up. I use my hands, that's why I took my rings off. I think it's the easiest way to get all this mixed up. All right, that's done. There's my filling. So I'm waiting for my pasta to cook. When that's done, I'm going to move that into cold water and stop it from cooking. Then we'll be ready to start assembling our rolled stuffed pasta. There's my piece of lasagna. I'm going to get out my stuffing mix. I'm not going to go all the way down to the end because I want it to overlap a little bit. Then I'm just going to start rolling this up. Get my hands clean there. Very gently, because you don't want to squeeze the stuffing out of it. And then I have set aside some toothpicks. So I'm just going to put that up on end and put a toothpick in there like so, and that'll hold it. A little bit of extra prosciutto there. These are almost ready to go into the oven. I have to coat these well with Béchamel because otherwise they'll dry out in the oven. I've heated my oven to 375 degrees. Okay, I got plenty of Béchamel left over. I'm going to be using that at the table as a final sauce to go over the top. These are going to go in, again, 375 degree oven, and they're going to bake for about 35 to 45 minutes to get the insides really hot, and then they'll be ready to serve. There are my rolled stuffed pastas from the oven. I got a little bit of browning around the top, so that's going to be slightly crisped. And I'm ready now to serve this and see how it tastes. To plate one of these, and I'm merely going to put one on a plate, take out the toothpick, and then here's my extra Béchamel or Balsamella. Put that over the top like so. And if you want to, you can even add a little bit of cheese to that. Just garnish it with a little bit of extra Romano or Parmesan cheese, and that is ready to eat. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? Let's see how this is going to taste. Smells good. I love pasta anyways. Oh, that is so good. It's got a nice delicate flavor. This actually tastes more French to me than Italian, although this is Italian. Oh, this is better, I think, than that humongous recipe that I did all day in that cookbook. It's easier, it looks nicer, tastes fantastic. Okay, I gotta go have my dinner. For a printable PDF copy of this recipe with step-by-step photographs, visit the White Trash Cooking website and look on the home page or in the recipe archive.